I haven't watched porn in 3 years, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how. The first thing that you need to understand is that most people, and this is probably you, is that they take the wrong approach altogether. You know, you try to avoid it, you try to distract yourself, you try to go and do something else with your time. And yeah, you know, that works for a time. But be honest, taking that approach, how many times have you relapsed now? There's that very famous quote, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's what you're doing, mate. And that's exactly what's happening because you're operating from completely the wrong mindset, which is that you still want it, even if you don't think you do, but you're just trying to avoid it. And as long as that's the case, you will always be playing a battle against yourself. Now, some people will tell you that they quit through counting the days or through willpower, but in my opinion, without them even realizing it, they actually quit through the method that I'm going to talk about today, which is basically fundamentally changing your belief system so that you're no longer trying to avoid porn, but that you no longer want to watch it in the first place. Let me give you a thought example, right? Think about something that you used to love as a kid. Maybe it was a video game. Maybe it was that frozen pizza that your mum cooked for you fucking every evening because you were a fat little fucking gremlin. At one point in your life, you genuinely really enjoyed those things. You wanted to do those things, right? But what about now? You don't. You don't sit there trying to resist the video game or the pizza. You don't need discipline to avoid these things. You just simply don't care for them anymore. And that's really the key here. You didn't try and like force yourself away from it. You didn't try and force yourself away from this, you know, pull. You just didn't want it anymore. And that's the same shift that you need to make here. And you know, I get it, you know, porn isn't exactly the same as, you know, a frozen pizza or a video game. I understand, right? But the fundamental mechanism is still exactly the same. It's no longer, I shouldn't want this thing, but why would I even want this thing in the first place? And the only way that happens is when you fully understand one simple thing, which is that porn has zero benefit to your life. Now you might be thinking,
well, yeah, no fucking shit, mate. That's why I'm trying to quit, you fucking idiot.
And yeah, listen, I understand what you're saying. However, clearly part of you does not believe that. Because if you truly believed that there was nothing to gain, there was zero benefit and only pain to your life as a result of watching porn, then why do you keep going back? You wouldn't keep relapsing and going back to something that you see as completely pointless and that adds no value to your life. The reason that you keep going back is because deep down, part of you still thinks, I get something out of this, I feel good, you know, it gives me something. But just think about that for a second, like, does it actually? You know, or is that just the perceived instant pleasure talking? Now, if you don't believe me, right now, grab a piece of paper. Now I want you to write down, like personally for you, the pros and cons of watching porn. Be honest with yourself. The pros list is going to be either just nothing or, you know, that it makes you feel some kind of pleasure in the moment when you're watching it, even though it doesn't, but I'll get onto that. But what about the cons, right? You feel worse, you have lower energy, lower confidence, you constantly feel like you're letting yourself down. So just ask yourself, like, is that really pleasure? Or is it just pain with a fake mask over it, convincing you that this is something worth doing? Now look at the cons list again, right? Look at it again and go deeper. Write down deeply, like word for word, how it's genuinely affecting your life. Mentally, emotionally, your confidence, your relationships, and just really sit with that for a second. Because what you'll start to realize is this. You're basically putting yourself through all of this low energy, frustration, regret, feeling like shit. And for what? A few minutes of pleasure? But is there pleasure, really? Is there actually pleasure in having lower energy, feeling like shit, and just overall feeling guilty about yourself? Or is that just a small moment that keeps you stuck in this loop? Because when you actually look at it for what it is, that pleasure isn't pleasure at all. It's only part of the trap. It pulls you in just to spit you out and make your life, you know, tremendously worse. And when that fully clicks for you, not just logically in your head, but like genuinely, something will change in your head. You'll no longer see porn as something that you're like missing out on, but you'll start seeing it for what it actually is, which is a pointless activity that adds no value to your life, that produces only pain, and is not even pleasurable. You don't even enjoy it, like, let's be honest. And once you fully understand that, that's the moment when all of this becomes easy. Because now you're not sat there thinking, you know, I can't resist this thing. I have to resist this pull of this pleasurable activity. You're just thinking, why would I even want this? And that is when you're set free. Not because you're stronger, not because you've tried to avoid it for the 1000th time now, but because it's simply just not something that you do anymore. And that is when you will quit for good. I hope this video helped, and I will see you in the next one. Stay focused.